Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Inept General bringing you a 3 versus 3 multiplayer battle. We are playing as the High Elves, as you can see by our Dragon Princes here. This is the Regiment of Renown version. We are teamed up with the Bretonnians, with their knights hiding in the woods with our Dragon Princes, looking lovely there as they do. And looking around, we have our army set up here on the sort of left-hand side of the battlefield as we face it. We've got mainly Sisters of Avalon. It was quite an expensive game. We had quite a lot of money to play with. We have some white lines in the back, the Regiment of Renown, a couple of units of Swords of Hoeth, our general here, Tyrion, looking regal and fantastic, and our Bretonnian ally. Looking here over some peasants, some archers, a mage of life, and with up there is King Luon Coeur, and of course the Griffin Knights there. Now, our Empire ally decided to set up way over on this other side, which I hate to see in multiplayer battles. It usually makes no sense. He's backed up by a couple of units of the Bretonnian Cavalry, but I really wish he'd come over to where the other two of us were. Makes these battles a lot easier, and technically what our enemy should do here is look to take him out, or they should look to take us out and then move on to the other side. But let's kick things off here as we go into the battle. We are against an army even of High Elves, Wood Elves, and the Tomb Kings. And it starts off a little bit slowly, just everyone feeling each other out. Our Bretonnians are moving up. No one really has any artillery of any significance, so there's not a huge rush to either beat the artillery or to just hold back and take artillery shots. We've got one trebuchet, they've got one bolt thrower. Now on the other side, it looked like the Tomb King player was going to be smart about this, come over, join his allies, and take us both out, take my army and the Bretonnian army. And, you know, having seen that movement, you'd think perhaps an Empire player might react, but nope, they just sit there, not going anywhere, happily dug in with their artillery. Now, there were some Tomb Scorpions there, but this guy did not see them. They were hidden in the woods. Now, on this side, our army's moving up. We're kind of reading what Bretonnia are doing pretty well. We're moving in line with them. We're happy to do that. This dragon's going to be a bit pesky. Now, this movement on the flank is a bit of a problem. They've got their flying lords that look to be just checking out the woods. Now, luckily enough for us at this early stage, I think they stop around here because they don't go further forward and see our knights in the woods just over there. Now, they're moving most of their cavalry, Sisters of the Fawn and the Wood Elf cavalry, round the flank, ready to charge, as we kind of start to have a arrow off here with both sides just firing arrows. We have an arrow advantage with our Sea Guard and our Sisters of the Fawn in the back. So this is a bit of trouble. They just get their knights caught in a trap and get the Pit of Shadows done on them. Now, the Empire comes up here. The Tomb King army gets to this position and sits there and doesn't move for a little while. The Empire's moved up one of their artillery units to try and take shots at it, but they're just having a weird little scramble on that side. Now here, the Hawks of the Wood Elves have come in on the Grail Knights of Bretonnia, who've been quite badly damaged. That is when basically all the cavalry commits, and in retrospect, a bit of a mistake in the battle at this point for us. The Grail Guardians there, are taking a bit of trouble. They're not the Grail Guardians, they're just the Grail Knights, apologies. But we charge in our cavalry to meet basically all of their cavalry. And it's basically a big cavalry off on this side, with those Grail Knights having been basically taken out. Now, we're winning this exchange, but then we notice out of the woods that there's a lot of Wood Elves there as well. But here are the Scorpions. The Empire, just to give you an update on what's going on over here, it looks like they found them and then are just moving away. It looks like they managed to get one of their cavalry units into the Hellblaster volley gun of the Empire and then scramble. But no major exchanges on this side of the battlefield, as the Empire has moved up a little bit, but not really doing anything, and the Tomb King almost having lost one of their major units without moving or noticing. It was a bit of a weird fight going on that side. Now on this side, this is not going well for us, this massive melee of cavalry here. And we begin to try and pull out our Dragon Knights because our Dragon Princes even, not Dragon Knights, because we've noticed the archers in the woods just off to one side here, and we're trying to take them out. But that is a lot of archers, a lot of missile-piercing damage from these wood elf archers here, and we need more than one cavalry unit to chase them down effectively. They're going to go on to be a nuisance, particularly as they've done a lot to neuter both mine and my Bretonnian allies' cavalry at this stage. But as far as my enemy High Elf army is concerned, they've mostly been dealt with. We took care of them fairly easily. We arrowed them to death. They had a lot of spearmen and had maybe more silver helms than were useful, which our Dragon Knights tended to take care of. Now, they got their cavalry into one of our Sisters of Avalon here, and this dragon is about to do something devastating. Oh, just slaughtering that poor unit. Oh, my word. But you know what? They're not going to run away. They're brave warriors, and they just resume firing, and the dragon sort of potters off on his way. Now, back here, our Dragon Knights, our Dragon Princes even keep getting caught, and they are just fighting the Wood Elf Cavalry. They should be okay there, but basically for me, they're a bit of a write-off at this stage. They're going to do as much damage as they can, and that's about it. Apologies for the pop-up there. You know, it was on deal this week, so I managed to pick that one up. But as the battle resumes here, we have our basically a big fight with the other opposing High Elf player. And yeah, basically it just goes on like this. We've got not the best matchup here for our Dragon Princes and the like, but it's doing what it's doing. We're kind of comfortable the way the fight is going here, as it just came down to the infantry at this stage. I'm comfortable with our swordsmen, with our sea guard. We could probably take this. But our biggest problem, as we close in on some of the action here, of our sword masters taking on some of their white lions and doing a pretty handy job of clearing them up. That's it. Hack away, my brave sword masters. And down here we have, yeah, basically, and they do another Pit of Shades. Not great for our units, as we try and get away as well as we can, but you know what, we're kind of stuck in melee here. As our sundering unit of White Lions goes about their dirty work. Now, we're trying to use a lot of our arrows to take down that dragon. You'll see him dottering about the battlefield for a while, being chased down by the Bretonnian flyers. Now, our biggest problem here was on the left side of the screen. As you can see, this is us routing most of that High Elf infantry. And the Wood Elves basically didn't have any infantry. They had cavalry and they had archers, and that was just about it. As we see Tyrion versus Tyrion taking place in the middle of the battlefield there. Now, finally, the Tomb Kings have engaged with the Empire, and they've already lost one of their big units, or about to lose another one, it looks like, which is really a bit silly considering they haven't really engaged in any combat as of yet. But our Empire ally is finally getting in the fight with these Tomb King, and at least kept them occupied and stopped them from joining in this fray, because if they had, we would have lost on this side, and then the Empire player would have been wiped out. Now, our Sisters of Avalon are doing huge amounts of damage, really getting their sort of worth in, doing a lot to help us out. Round the back, we're still trying to just shut down some of their missiles, but with the Wood Elves, it's tricky. If you only have one unit of cavalry, they sacrifice one of their archers while the other two just take down your cav. It's a bit of a challenge if you don't have enough cavalry or quick-moving units to deal with them. Over here on the Empire side, a lot of carnage happening. The rockets going off against the Tomb King archers as they try their best against this Empire army. The Scorpions doing a lot of work for them. Kind of a tough unit to bring down, the Scorpions, unless you get a hero on them or something like that. Back on our side of the battlefield, things are looking okay. Like, we've dealt with most of the High Elf players' stuff. He's mostly dealt with. Our biggest problem now is the Wood Elves, and we don't really have a solution to them at this stage. Their archers can run away, can pepper us down. If we stay in this situation, really neither I or the Bretonnia player are going to do very well, as most of the Wood Elf cavalry at this stage is off chasing down Bretonnian units who have fled the battle due to their poor morale. Most of my High Elf units are still in position. They've taken a lot of damage, but they're just trying to do what they can to witter down some of the remaining High Elves. Now, this is kind of the pocket of units we're most worried about. this armor-piercing archer unit coming around the side from the Wood Elves as we get a heal off there from, I think that was our ally actually who cast that one. Over on the Empire side, you know, it's kind of a tit for tat. They're losing in some places, gaining in others. This Empire general seems a bit surrounded, a little bit of trouble against their Necrotech there, doing a lot of work. Now, we get to a stage here where, yeah, basically, as I said before, we're kind of cleaning up. And this line of archers, we've tried to turn and face with 2 units of Sister of Avalon. But at this point, I'm aware that we just don't have enough. We can't deal with it. We don't have cavalry. There's nothing we can really do as one of our Sea Guard are chasing down a unit there, only to be surrounded by both sides and shot. So we start to do something where we shift our army across to the right. And at some point here, around now, I think I realized that, look over there at the Empire side of the battle. They still have some artillery, they still have a lot of alive missile units, who, if it came down to it, could stand toe-to-toe with the Wood Elves if they had to, and fire at them if the Wood Elves wanted to win this battle. But they do seem to be struggling with these Scorpions. So let's get our guys across while we can save some of these Empire units. You know what, maybe the Empire could have handled them, but it wasn't. It was looking very even. It would like the Empire wouldn't have much left if we just left them to it, and we'd have even less. So you'll see the mass migration of my units coming across. Now, what I was actually very pleased about here was that the Bretonnian player saw us moving across and decided to join us. Now, the Empire Cavalry here of doing quite well, cleaning up some of those Tomb King archers. And the Bretonnian units are moving with us, and this is pretty good. We're just running away from the Wood Elves at this point, and I think they haven't quite caught on to what we're doing. Most of their cavalry is too far away to really catch us in any good time. They could make that up, but they're not in the middle of it at this stage. As we move across, and we send Tyrion after one of these Tomb King heroes who had been chasing down the general, and here he goes, just charging into the Necrotech. Ugh. As the two of them battle it out, Tyrion almost falling out of his saddle there. Now, all of our units in the background, you can see moving towards the Empire. That's him dead, the Necrotech, and we move Tyrion to help with those Scorpions. Now, in the back, we are taking casualties from these Wood Elves, who are keeping up with us, firing on us the whole way. We just have to make sure that hopefully they're firing at some of the worst units in the back rather than anything particularly good. The Swordmasters are a good target for them there, but we just have to keep moving. And our Bretonnian player very wisely starts to send back a couple of his Spearman unit, a couple of the cheaper peasant units to try and protect my Swordmasters, which was great teamwork on his part as we continue to try and move up. And now it's a matter of like, how do we approach this fight with the Tomb Kings? And there goes Tyrion against this Scorpion, just trying to make quick work of him, help out where he can. I think he got a hit in there before it ran off after that target. And I think this Tomb, yeah, there we go, it gets taken care of there. Now, there's another Scorpion that Tyrion's going to try and help out with, but I think the Empire actually takes care of this one before. As our armies move in, you see the noble sacrifice of the Bretonnians there, as we try to get all our forces together in one, with quite a lot of Wood Elves units remaining. But at this stage, you can see their ammo's running light, and if I was them, I wouldn't have fired. And they're still on auto-firing, so as they run past as fleeing Bretonnian units, they're wasting ammunition, which was a great little accident there that happened. And the Empire player is kind of realizing, oh, I've got some company, as we're bringing the fight to him. And we start to form ranks sort of at the bottom crest of this hill, with Tyrion just admiring a dead Tomb Scorpion there. Those noble sacrifices of those Bretonnians there. Oh, sad to see, sad to see. But here comes their Tyrion, trying to do some damage to our troops. The evil, fake, the pretender charges into our Swordmasters. They get a couple of hits in, but he runs away again. I'm not sure what was up with their Tyrion. When we fought him one-on-one earlier in the battle, he lost quite badly, and I think that's maybe he didn't bring a lot of the accessories or the weapons on Tyrion. And their two flying generals are up here causing us all kinds of hassle. These sword masters might have to just be a noble sacrifice. And with those Bretonnian units having gone backwards to deal with it, you can see that most of these Wood Elf Archer units are now out of ammunition, which is a godsend. They could have been even problematic were we to get all our forces together. We've turned around one of our Sisters of Avalon units as we form up ranks on this hill for a final confrontation with the Wood Elves. Now, if you see what we've got a couple of gunner units, we've got some peasant armor-piercing halberdiers, we've got some spearmen, but the Empire itself doesn't have that much infantry. It has a couple of units of greatswords, I think, as well. But the greatswords, the remnants of the sword masters, should be able to themselves be able to pick off all of these Wood Elf archers. Now, a big threat as well on this side is the cavalry, but we have enough anti-large to tie it up if we can just catch them and keep them in one place with this gunnery movement going there. Now, the greatswords charging into the Wood Elf archers, they will make handy work out of them. It shouldn't be too much of an issue. And the gunners on this side just trying to do as much damage as they can before these guys get in. Running away for a bit as well, not unwise. As the crossbowmen start firing down, haha, how's it like to get a taste of your own medicine, you filthy Wood Elves? As those greatswords win that fight handily with all of them. Their Tyrion trying to cause trouble on this side, running into a unit of spears, or halberds even. That's even worse for him. As he gets surrounded, not quite surrounded, but tactical. Oh, what a swipe. He's such a monster sometimes. But they have some of their cavalry left that just charge into him there. And that's really it. They break at that point due to losses. Their Tyrion gets chased off. I think it was when their general broke that was the end of the battle. But let's go to the battle results screen, shall we, and see what damage was done. So, here we have our damage. Tyrion getting 60 there. Really, our best earner are some of the Sisters of Avalon with 64, 79. The other two units didn't do so well. Our Seaguard putting in some good work for Seaguard. Bretonnia, 21 with King Luon. Some of their infantry, their cavalry, their questing knights, 68, good performance. 98 from the cavalry of the Empire. That's going into a lot of those Tomb King archers. On the enemy side, their Tyrion did 60, 66. The dragon doing 32. That's not a lot for a dragon, but he did demolish one of our units there. And the Wood Elves, look at this, 40, 40, 50, just consistency from those archer units. Just that's a lot of damage racked up, and their cavalry did a lot of work as well. So that's about it, guys. Hope you enjoyed that multiplayer battle. This time round, I did not play as Chaos. You know, it's not always easy being bad, so we decided to be one of the good guys. But as always, guys, huge thank you for watching, and I hope to catch you all on the next